You don't try the Recluse clutch?
Hell yeah, I do.
West Moto. And I'll see you on the starting line. You can start it, and I don't give it a little bit of gas, and you'll be able to get a feel for it.
Okay, cool. Want to jump on mine?
Yeah. The very first thing I noticed when I hopped on Glad Ace John's bike was obviously the clutch. I have a Z-Start Recluse on my KTM 300 XCW. He still has stock clutch, I believe, and it just has a whole different feel to the bike between a Recluse and the normal clutch. Something else that I knew was not really going to be an issue, but I knew was going to happen is our bikes are set up completely different. His sag's obviously going to be different than mine. Springs are probably going to be a little different. Front suspension is going to be set up different. Handlebar position, basically the whole 9 yards. And I definitely felt that on this bike, where I could slide in corners and kind of throttle out of them. I couldn't really do on John's bike. Now, I don't think that's suspension. It may be some front suspension, set up different heights, I guess, maybe. But a lot of it has to do with the rear brake. My rear brake is really, really soft. And I have it like that intentionally. That way, you know, if you really want to slide into a corner, you really gotta want it, basically. So it's extremely pressure sensitive, I guess. So it's a gradual rear brake. So if you want to slide in a corner, you got to stomp on it, and you got to kind of pinpoint where your tail end's gonna go. And it's just something that I've practiced over and over and over and over again. I'm still working on it. I'm not perfect at any of this stuff, but that is something I definitely noticed a difference on. Now, I don't know if you guys can notice this or not, but even just the slightest little too much hint of throttle, that front wheel's coming up on this bike, which is great. It's awesome, unless you really don't want that to happen. And with the that Recluse clutch that I have, that's non-existent, is where the throttle positioning is actually. So pretty much quarter throttle, the front end of this bike will come up. Quarter throttle, the front end of my bike will not come up because that Recluse is still engaging. It'll still come up second, third, fourth gear if you want it to. But it's just more of a gradual response instead of a snap. Stupid clutch. You wanna keep going?
I can't hit your rear brake.
Yeah, it's real soft.
Super soft.
Yeah, I know.
How do you like that?
Looks good.
Yeah. I really like it because literally just giving a little gas and it's slipper.
Right.
And it just kind of pulls.
Instead of punch, like it's all there.
Yeah, that's cool. I want to try it out on the motocross track just to kind of drive it around a little. I'm having a real hard time with that rear brake.
So I actually stalled John's bike right there. That's where that Recluse will get you. And one thing that he noticed about my bike is the rear brake setup. He couldn't really. It's a huge difference between the two bikes. So he just wasn't getting that comfortable with it. So we got out to the motocross track. And now this is where I feel like the suspension setup on this bike is just way off for me and my riding style. Basically, the front end just kept wanting to wash out all over the place. I could not get any traction with it. It felt like it was just a ski on the front. They just wanted to go, 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 go. And I couldn't really control it as well as I wanted to. So it works for John, for his riding styles and how he wanted it set up and everything. It works for him great. Does not work for me as much. And that's just how it is with different bikes. They have different personalities, and you can set them up however you want. Now, I know a majority of this has been a comparison with the Recluse clutch, but I'm not trying to push a Recluse on anybody. I'm just saying that it changed the feel of the bike so much. Comparing the two bikes, they're the same bikes, they're just a different year. It made such a big difference. And like I said earlier, the suspension setup and all of that just is a huge difference, a very different feel. John's bike is awesome, by the way. I'm not downplaying it at all. It'll get up and go. But if it was mine, I would definitely have to tweak it a little bit more to fit my style. Look at this. This is my buddy Anthony's bike. He was awesome enough to let me hop on and take out for a spin. It is a 2019 YZ450FX. Now, Anthony's 450 does have a Recluse clutch on it also. Feels completely different. It's not a Z-Start. I'm not really sure. He told me which one it was, but I just can't remember. It does not engage the way that the Z-Start clutch does engage on my KTM. It is a whole different feel. So, chasing Sean around this motocross track, trying to get my bearings on this 450 because even though there's different map styles that you can put in it, it's still, you can't tame this thing from my experience on it. It is just all around monster. One of the biggest turnoffs about this bike, I'll go ahead and get it out of the way now. It does not have a backup kickstarter. Why are these new bikes coming without a kickstarter? It's electric start only. I don't like that at all. I don't like it on any of these new bikes. I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know if it's a weight thing. I really doubt it's a weight thing. Or it's just, honestly, I have no idea why. Your battery dies, you are stuck. You're screwed. You can't start it. You can't jump start it. Nothing. You're not, no kicker. No kickstart lever. Stop doing that. What are you thinking? Stop doing it. Stop making these bikes like that. Now, we got that out of the way. What I really like about this thing, Anthony has his suspension just dialed in for his weight, so he's a bigger guy than I am. I'm a fairly small person, so it is really stiff for me, which once again is just the bike's personality, the way Anthony has it set up. It's just something that you're gonna have to get used to if you're on somebody else's bike. The really cool thing about this though is the maps that you can put on this thing. There's literally, it has a Wi-Fi system built into the bike. You hook up to your phone, and he was showing us that you can create your own maps for this bike and basically upload them to the bike, and you have a switch, maps 1 and map 2, tune it however you want to, upload them into your bike and ride it. There's a ton of options you can do with this thing, and that is just one of the coolest features I think I've ever seen on any bike. Now the downfall is, since there's a lot of new electronics on these things, there's more stuff that you're gonna have to fix or take to a dealership if it faults out. or if it goes crazy, it can make your motor do all kinds of crazy stuff. And I definitely do not want to tear into a motor that has all these electronic components in it, because I don't know how they all work. Now Sean's on his 450, 2018 I believe, CRF 450. It's got different maps you can put on it also. He is extremely hard to keep up with. I'm just trying to figure out and get my bearings on this YZ 450. And the second lap here, I'm getting a little more confidence on it. I'm getting a little more comfortable. But like I said, the suspension's a lot more stiff for me, and just getting used to the power and how the throttle response is. And even though it does have a recluse, it's still just a beast, man. This thing is a ton of fun to ride and a ton of power. Now I do believe if I rode a lot more motocross and not so much trails and a lot of open stuff, I would definitely have to get my hands on one of these 450s. The 2019 KX is awesome. That video is coming out next week. This 2019 YZ 450 FX is awesome. The maps you can do with this thing is just, it's great. I want to give my buddy Anthony a huge thanks for allowing me to hop on this awesome bike and take it around a motocross track a little bit. He races it in the woods, and I don't know how he does it. He is extremely good on this thing in the woods and on the motocross track. I was not about to take it into the woods because it's too much for me to handle in a wide open space like this. I'm not going to wrap this thing around a tree and break my collarbone. So, special thanks to Anthony and Gladius John for allowing me to hop on his 2017 KTM 300 XCW and kind of get a fun little ride in on that one. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you have not already. Leave a comment, and I'll definitely get back to you, respond and all that. So until next time, I'm 10 West Moto, and I'll see you on the starting line. First lap was terrible, but got a little feel for it, man. Started getting a little rhythm together. It is nice.
Oh, that dude stopped on that burn?
Yeah. This thing's nice, man. The clutch feels a whole lot different, like crazy different. The power, it's like night and day compared to my 300. You're hard to catch, man.
Shit.
Shit.
Man, once you got ahead, you was gone.
Yeah. That's decent.
That was fun.
That is a lot of fun.
We made them other boys give up over it. Pulled over.
This thing's nice. If I did more motocross and stuff, I'd probably have one.